Good, yeah, it's happened twice. It's great. I'm cursed. I'm guessing it's the power splitter that I use. It must be fucked and surging a bit. Which that's the only thing that I can think of. It works fine on bats, but then the second I plugged it into power, I mean, it didn't have to cricket, but I didn't use your splitter. I used like one of their splitters, one of their like power points, without my stuff to plug in. But when I used the one that was provided, it just, as soon as I plug it in, the handle just goes dark. Anyway, for the handle, like all the options for the handle, the tide and whiten doesn't work, start and stop doesn't work, audio doesn't work on it anymore. But it was working this morning just off batteries because I was charging it, hooked everything up, set it up, made sure everything worked, made sure each input worked because I was scarred from last week. And then, yeah, I'm like, cool, I'm all good, plugged it into power, gone. Yeah, the camera's fine. No, it doesn't blink, but it doesn't blink like there's a power surge, nothing, the camera stays on. The battery goes from minutes to nothing because it's on power. It's all good. 180 minutes. Yeah, the handle stops working. So it must be just enough of a surge to short out the handle, but not anything else. Yeah, bro, I don't know. No, because it's a whole new power cable, so the only constant was the double tap that I kept from the other kit by accident, and just I used that again. So yeah, so I'll be getting rid of that. I've got 183 minutes. Yeah, it's like exact almost. So. Yeah. Easy. Oh no, yeah. Try hanging up and starting again. Easy. Maybe my phone's not up to date or something. Yeah, okay. Alright. It's a me problem then. 180 minutes is scary. Cool. Does he have a little extension thing? Just because I've repositioned from where I was, where the power was, and now it's a bit. All good. He can. No, all good. I've got some in my car that he can grab. He just might have to do 1 or 2 trips. Yeah. But yeah, one's not provided with the kit, and just where it is, just I don't like having it stretched over. I'll just be carrying it. Yeah. Sorry. Yep. Yeah. Yep, I just did it before. I disconnected it, reconnected it, and I haven't done it oh my god! Yeah. Are you picking? We'll reconnect it during half time. Okay, yeah, no, that'll be fine. Cool. Do you want me to disconnect the handle and prep then? Okay. Okay. Sure. Yeah, I have. Yeah. Yes, yeah, he has. I also don't know if you can't fix it to let the other content on. If we want to do that way. Yeah. I'm first. I don't know. I've got no, I'm going running with whether it's heavy duty or anti-surge valve or just something. That's the class. So I just don't. I don't know what's going on. Yeah. Yeah, the only thing I'm worried about is fucking 76 minutes of battery, but we'll fix it up. So with the camera swap, if it's not done by kickoff, switch it halfway. Cool. Oh, okay, so we're just gonna eat the 2, try and do it. Bang, bang. And we'll basically be doing the swap. If he's not here before kickoff, just live during the kickoff. So I'm guessing Ben will come here, he'll set up the camera while I'm still operating, and then once it's ready, we'll just switch the vision quickly into the live view, and then nothing's happening. Yeah, you just get, so I don't know. You can just say sorry for the delay, or I don't know. What
as in, will it be streamed before the camera switch happens?
We'll see when it gets in.
Okay.
Yeah, but yes, if kickoff goes, we're streaming.
Okay. Yeah.
And we do have audio as well.
Okay. But we won't have audio until the new camera kicks in.
Proper. Got it. So it just picks everything. Yeah.
So I just do it as if it's still.
Until the new camera's here, no.
No.
Because it just doesn't mix
okay.
right. Yeah. Thank you. Sorry. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
No, don't be silly. And then I'm not going to swear, because it makes us stand here and filming. God, can you imagine? Shit! Huh? No, I'll be here. on the wrong side. Good stuff! Well done, Sasha! Well done, Mila. 28 to pick up. Yeah, Chris, well done, mate. Well done. Let's go, please!
great stuff, well done. Yeah, let's go, Bulleen! Winners!
Well done. Just release him. He wants it. There you go. Yes.
Sasha, fantastic, well done, mate.
One go, the other
Winners, Bulleen! Put the ball in the net, let's go! Wait, let me power! Take it!
Hold her up, hold her up! Good! Let's go, Gabriela! Well done. Nice, Georgie. Go again. Oh, why did the player with the muscle go on? Yeah, release on the second. Nice, good move. 144, 144.
Good, let's go, Danny! That's easy!
Attack the ball, attack the ball! Hit it! Oh, here we go. Touch it, touch it.
Well, good afternoon and welcome to the Veneto Club for a blockbuster afternoon of NPL Women's Victoria action.
Hopefully now you can hear the audio coming through your stream. We have had some technical difficulties, so we do apologise for that. We are 19 and a half minutes into this blockbuster clash between Bulleen Lions and Preston Lions, a rematch of last season's Nike Cup final. Bulleen coming away with the chocolates and the trophy on that afternoon, but Preston are the team who started the brighter for this round 3 clash early in season 2025. See the opportunity here perhaps falling the way of Elena Vatke. Quick across to clear though was Kat Renahan for Bulleen. It's been fairly even start to the game, but the better chances have come for Preston. That ball in towards Valentine Percy is a good one. Percy, the player who's had probably the 2 best looks at goal in the opening 20 minutes of action. Just to catch you up on the teams, both teams with a little bit of movement compared to their last times out. Bulleen making the one change from their 1-0 win against Spring Hills last time out. Holly Massey unavailable to play in this afternoon's contest, which provides the big opportunity for Academy product Sasha Kozamara to get a start in what is a huge game in the context of this competition at senior level. Whilst for Preston, who've had a stuttering start to their 2025 campaign, Dan Foden makes a couple of changes to the 11, which lost to Alamein last time out, with Miri Nishimura making her first start of the campaign, whilst Eva Harrington also returning to the starting 11 in a fullback position. So a couple of big inclusions for Preston as they look for their first win of the season. It's been, as I said, a less than ideal beginning to the campaign for last season's beaten grand finalists, as well as being beaten in the Nike Cup were Preston by Bulleen. Following up, or prior to last week's 2-0 loss to Alamein, there was the 1-1 draw with Spring Hills, a team who've proven quite the task for both of these teams early in the NPLW season. Bulleen needing a late near Saleh goal to grab all 3 points, building on their 2-1 win against Box Hill in the opening round. So 6 points from 6 for Bulleen, just the 1 for Preston up to this point. But as mentioned, they've looked pretty promising in the first 20 or so minutes of this first half. Just running through briefly the rest of the lineups for you. For Preston on the ball at the moment, in goal, Maggie Byrne, number 6, Ellie Talevsky, 8, Miri Nishimura, 15, Emma Checker, 16, Lani Judica, 22 is Eva Harrington, 28, Eliza Amandolia, 30 is Elena Vatke, 35, Mizuho Yamada, 44, Valentine Percy, and 50, as ever, is the captain, Georgia Henderson. So we see this run made by Danella Buttress down the left-hand side and draws the foul from Judica. So there's a free kick opportunity for the hosts in a fairly dangerous position. Lani Judica will indeed go into the referee's notebook. Our central referee this afternoon, Angelique Manjon, assisted on the sidelines by Nicoletta Soteropoulos, as well as Greg Emsley and Labrini Ularis as our 4th official. For Bulleen, meanwhile, as they prepare to take this free kick, Emily Shields is in goal. Number 2, Caitlin O'Brien. 3, Kat Renahan. 4, Mila Bullich. 7, Danny Buttress. Number 8 is Sarah Kane. 9, Taylor Golden. 11, Anais Yasevsky. Number 15 is Kristen Malloy. 20, Sasha Kozamara. And 21, Rosie Roger. Plenty of new faces for both of these teams compared to the previous campaign, particularly for Bulleen, who we know often have to deal with quite a number of absences early in the NPLW season, with players away on A-League duty. Thanks to the likes of Isabel De Harkers and Alana Cordolino still plying their trade with Western United in the national competition. But for now, though, Bulleen will look to deliver this ball into the area. It's into a decent spot as well. It's a scramble in the penalty area. Still the ball caught amongst a tangle of legs. Eventually, Preston are able to get the ball clear. But far from a comfortable way of dealing with that chance for Bulleen, who've looked their most dangerous from set pieces, as they have the habit of doing under Caitlin Friend, Bulleen. Of course, the back-to-back premiers over the last couple of seasons, looking to make it 3 in a row in 2025. Of course, we'll also be hoping to take it to that final step as well and finally secure that championship crown. These two teams played out a trio of excellent contests last season. Away wins in the league for both teams early on in the campaign. Bulleen really laid down a marker with their impressive performance at BT Connell Reserve, and it was not till around August time that these two teams met again, twice in quick succession. First in that Nike Cup where Bulleen, as mentioned, got the better of Preston to lift that silverware, but it was just a week or so later that these two teams met again at this very venue. And on that occasion, Preston got some of their revenge, winning out 2-1 thanks to goals from Miri Nishimura and Ellie Lamont. Ellie Lamont, who starts on the bench again this afternoon, but provides a real threat should she be needed in the second half. This is Vatke now for Preston. Goes the left-footed cross, looking for Percy. The Bulleen defence quick to cover and close down the space. Emma Checker to deliver the throw. Percy got her head on it. There was Malloy, who sends it behind for a corner. And we see Miri Nishimura making her way over to that far corner, as Bulleen, or rather Preston, hope to get some reward for some of the early chances they've been able to create. Nishimura plays it short to Vatke, who looks a little bit more inboard. It's Eliza Amendolia back out towards Nishimura, but the offside flag curtails the attack. Really is a mammoth afternoon into evening of NPL Women's Victoria football for your viewing pleasure this afternoon. This is the first of a double header at the Veneto Club. Last match of the night still a number of hours away. 8:30 local time, the planned kickoff for Burundara and Box Hill. But kicking off earlier this afternoon, Alamein South Melbourne, Academy Heidelberg, as well as Essendon Royals Spring Hills. All of that following up from Bentley's 1-0 win over Brunswick Juventus last night. Preston, though, already finding themselves behind the 8 ball with their slow start to the season. Raising the premium on the 3 points this afternoon, even more than they would have been ordinarily. This is Percy trying to skip past Miller Bullich. The ball beats them both. Henderson trying to flick it into the path of Vatke. This is Kozamara looking out towards Anais Yasevsky. Yasevsky gets behind Harrington and still making her run, Anais Yasevsky. It's a decent cross as well. A little bit too much height though for Rosie Roger, who scrambles to recover possession. Kozamara fires back into the area. O'Brien looking to continue the attack, and Judich's header asks a little bit of Maggie Byrne. There's a firm coming together between Byrne and Golden. Taylor Golden, one of the marquee recruits for Bulleen this season. The American most recently playing for South Georgia Tormenta, having also played at a few other teams back in the States, Tampa Bay United, Swan City Soccer Club, amongst others. See the foul called there against Malloy, and Percy quick to restart the play up towards Vatke. Malloy looks out towards Miller Bullitt, showing her versatility early in this season, having spent more or less the entire of last season at the heart of defence, initially alongside Isabel de Harkers, but early in this campaign having to step out wide into a left fullback position. Once again, Anais Yasevsky is the target of that long ball over the top, causing some trouble for Eva Harrington, who gets back to concede the corner. And call made for a new ball to be sent over to that flag. Danella Buttress, one of the incredibly promising young players in this league, having really made her name last season at this level with FB Academy. 5 goals she was able to score. And it is Buttress who delivers the in-swinging corner. It's got too much height on it. And the call is it flicked off a Preston head. So Buttress will make her way from one side of the pitch to the other. Again, it's a central direction. Ends up at the feet of Golden. Checker was there to block the repeated cross. And Amendolia getting it, seeking to get it further away. Wasn't able to play the pass before the ball rolled out for a Bulleen throw. That one finds its way towards Sarah Kane, who, well, we've seen in the past, is capable of scoring some spectacular goals, including at this very venue. That one, though, she wasn't quite able to get over the top of. So it'll be Preston to restart from the back. And that pass back from Miller Bullich invites Emily Shields out of her penalty area. Just a little bit of danger as the veteran goalkeeper does well to get it up to Kozamara. Now Bullich looks towards Roger, but Yamada was there. Now Henderson looking towards Nishimura. Some fierce competition as Renahan looks to get the ball clear. Kat Renahan and Kristen Malloy, the starting centre-back pair for Bulleen again this afternoon, both having crossed over from Alamein in the off-season. Alamein, who themselves have made a highly impressive start to season 2025. Speaking of former Alamein players, it's Vatke who gets it central towards Amendolia. Checker now. Finds a captain in Henderson, whose header hopes for Nishimura. There is Yosefsky to send the ball as far away from goal as possible. And a combination of Roger and Kane will carry the ball forward now for Bulleen. Was hoping for Golden, who was, I think, hoping that a through ball in behind would be played instead. Still developing those communication channels. The new teammates, Taylor Golden, trying to find her chemistry with the rest of the Bulleen players. Amendolia wins it back in a really dangerous position, and it's a fantastic save from Emily Shields. Eliza Amendolia with as clear a look as anyone has had this afternoon. But yet again, Shields is up to the task. Really hard to deny that Preston have had, you'd say, the 3 clearest cut chances of this first half hour. Nothing to show for it at the moment. And we've seen before how ruthless Bulleen can be if you give them a shot at the other end. Should mention that as well as contesting last season's Nike Cup final and being finals teams in terms of the NPLW competition, these two teams did finish first and second on the ladder come the end of the regular season. Bulleen a little way clear of Preston. But of course it was Preston who ended up at the big dance, even if they weren't able to get it done on that day. This is Harrington looking inboard towards Vatke, but Malloy read it well. Yasevsky, who's swapped sides with Buttress. And I guess Yasevsky, somewhat of a breakout season last campaign with Burundara. 10 goals she ended the campaign with, and as her reward gets the move to Bulleen. And has already opened her account in that opening game against Box Hill, another one of her former clubs, Anais Yasevsky. Her and Danella Buttress both scoring the goals that won Bulleen the 3 points on Sunday night in the first round of the season. Yamada pressing high up the park, unable though to prevent it rolling behind for a goal kick. This is Miller Bullich for Bulleen. Yasevsky has been followed to this side of the pitch by Harrington. Yasevsky, though, winning out and playing it through towards Golden. Golden has a couple of options inside. Mishit the cross. Maggie Byrne will be very happy watching that go behind for a goal kick of her own. Might be able to hear the shouts of Emily Shields for her team to press up. It is perhaps their greatest strength, Bulleen, the pressing game, and they won the ball in the opposition half here. And Macheka well positioned to repel. Kozamara now hoping to find Buttress. The through ball ever so slightly misangled. Kozamara, who won the runner-up in the Best and Fairest prize for the under-20s last season. Getting her opportunity at senior level in the senior squad alongside Mary Brown, who's on the bench this afternoon. Brown was the Best and Fairest, taking home that award alongside the Golden Boot for her exploits in the under-20 teams last season. This is Eva Harrington, now in her 5th season at Preston. Trying the long throw up towards Vatke, but the combination of Yasevsky and Bullich win the ball back, at least for the moment, for Bulleen. Ellie Talevsky doesn't see much ahead of her that she likes, so she opts to recycle it with Judica. Buttress applying the pressure and pinching the ball off Judica's toes. This is Danella Buttress. Forces a save from Maggie Byrne. It was never likely from that kind of distance and angle. You can never rest easy when Danella Buttress is buzzing around. Flick on header from Percy, hoping to find Georgia Henderson. Henderson sees a little bit of space for Amendolia. Kane trying her best to close it down. Mizuho Yamada. One of the Japanese recruits for Dan Foden this season, alongside Eri Narita, who's starting this afternoon on the bench. This is Talevsky, looking up towards Henderson. And now it's Miri Nishimura. And well, if there were anyone on the pitch who you'd back to finish from that kind of distance, Nishimura might be your choice. But there is some stiff competition. Georgia Henderson, of course, did score a fantastic goal from long range in the Nike Cup final last season. And already mentioned the likes of Sarah Kane as well, with a reputation for having that in their locker. Nishimura. Pass was too skinny as O'Brien cuts it out. And this time Preston go up and over the Bulleen defence. This is Amendolia looking for that key, but O'Brien was first to read it. So just under 5 minutes of regulation time remain in this first half. Has been a really interesting contest, even one as well. Even if the weight of chances have fallen Preston's way, Bulleen have certainly had their periods in this half in which you felt like they've been controlling the general play. Preston, though, have done a good job at avoiding that turning into anything too threatening. And this late in the half, Preston won't take any chances with the Bulleen press, and Maggie Byrne will send it up towards the halfway line. Harrington and Yasevsky do battle, but the support of Henderson wins out for Preston. Malloy bringing down Elena Vatke, I think knew exactly what she was doing there, Kristen Malloy, and goes into referee Manjohn's book as a result. Not too much protestations from Kristen Malloy, who perhaps knew that her former Alamein teammate Elena Vatke had her beat for pace and needed to bring an end to the run in behind. Just ensuring that the wall is the requisite distance away from Ellie Talevsky, who has a couple of options, can go direct into the area. Also, Miri Nishimura out on the right-hand side. Talevsky opts for the direct approach. Not for the first time in this half, we've seen a dead ball overhit into the penalty area and not really giving their teammates much of a look in. Henderson's ball for Vatke. In towards Nishimura. Miri Nishimura got the shot away. Had Emily Shields worried just for half a second. Ultimately comfortable that it was going wide, and once again we call for one of the backup footballs to be delivered up towards Emily Shields. 90 seconds of regulation remaining. Both coaches, you'd think, would be content to accept a 0-0 scoreline at this point. Right at the minute, though, it's Preston who look more likely to change the scoreline before the break. This is Harrington pinching the ball off Malloy. The shot, though, perhaps caught somewhere between two minds as to whether to pull the trigger on the shot or try to slide through Valentine Percy. And in the end, it was much too close to Shields. Creates the chance for the Bulleen counter-attack, and O'Brien set quite the task, and too great an assignment in the end. So Maggie Byrne, the goalkeeper brought in from Brunswick Juventus, made a handful of appearances for that team last campaign. Preston have made a habit of giving real opportunities to young goalkeepers, as we saw for a large part of last season with Charlotte Horrison. Emily Shields with a booming call to let her come and pick up the ball. And very much at the opposite end of the experience spectrum is Emily Shields compared to Maggie Byrne. Sarah Kane hoping to find buttress. Now elapsed the 45 minutes, so at our referee's discretion as to how much longer we will continue. Henderson hoping to play through Vatke. Elena Vatke has been a real thorn in the Bulleen defence's side in this first half. And Mendolia closed down by Danella Buttress, who's, well, that's as easy a decision as Angelique Manjon will have to make this afternoon. Clear-cut foul, which will perhaps be the final major incident of the first 45.
Danny, well played.
Amendolia just losing a shin pad in that last attempted interception. And that will be half-time at the Veneto Club. 0-0 the score in this Nike Cup final rematch between Bulleen Lions and Preston Lions. Preston with the better opportunities throughout the half. Valentine Percy with a couple of golden chances, as well as Eva Harrington getting a really good look in during that first half. Bulleen, though, certainly had their moments, and you saw some of their football shining through at times during the first 45, but whether there will be a winner will be very much decided in the second half of action coming your way in around 15 or 20. Welcome back to the Veneto Club. Second half underway. This Nike Cup final rematch. The top two teams at the end of the regular season ladder last season going head to head early in 2025. Bulleen 0, Preston 0, the scoreline at the half. This game very much still hanging in the balance. And Preston will be hoping to replicate the strong start that they had in the first 45. They were out nice and early from their halftime chat. Dan Foden perhaps relatively content with large parts of how the game had been going. His team creating the better of the chances. As we see Valentine Percy look inboard towards Amendolia. And Amendolia wins the ball back as well. Henderson tries her luck from a long way out. And a first shot in anger of the second half. Preston very quickly reminding us of the threat that they're capable of providing. Sasha Kozamara, the youngster, just getting caught on the ball by the more experienced Amendolia. Liza Amendolia having spent some time with Western Sydney Wanderers as well as overseas at the University of Hawaii. And has looked like a real handy addition to the Preston midfield early in the campaign. Henderson and Nishimura now playing the ball back out to Amendolia. Closing down the space is O'Brien. Amendolia hoping to find Lani Judica, who'd made the run up from fullback. But Danny Buttress does a good job at shepherding it behind for a goal kick. So a positive first couple of minutes for Preston, still looking for their first win of the season. As for Bulleen, it's hoping to remain perfect. Lena Vatke pinching the ball off the toes of Kat Renahan and forcing Emily Shields to come off her line and send it away for a throw. Valentine Percy, the ball with her feet at the box, and it was an acrobatic attempt. Well over the crossbar in the end. But right at the moment, Preston Lions are well on top. And they're not really letting Bulleen out easily. Sarah Kane's ball towards Buttress is a good one. Has Yosefsky in the middle. Danny Buttress cuts back onside into her left and draws a good save from Maggie Byrne. The chance is ongoing. Checker and Roger come together. Eventually Checker sends the ball away as far as Kozamara and out towards O'Brien. So first venture forward into the Preston half for Bulleen in this second 45. And Maggie Byrne called into action early on. This is Taylor Golden trying her luck with the left boot. Kozamara hoping to continue the attack, but it was Nishimura who came away with the ball. Well read though by Malloy in the Bulleen backline. Bullich back to Malloy. Lena Vatke. Not everything that she's done has come off this afternoon, but you cannot question her commitment and work ethic up to this point in the game. Talevsky, a fairly agricultural clearing ball. Not interested in entertaining any clever playing out. That time she goes the more nuanced approach. That header out wide will be let to run by Malloy. Henderson's cross inside. Percy and Amendolia both in the area, but not well enough directed to keep the ball in play. Not for the first time this afternoon. We just wait for a replacement ball to make its way up towards Emily Shields. Kozamara under the pump from Nishimura. Emily Shields has had to be alert for more or less the entirety of this match. Constantly her defence is under immense pressure. And we've seen Preston create some of their best chances winning the ball high up the park. It's Nishimura again who's the target of this throw. That one had too much height on it. So Bulleen struggling to wrestle back control of the general play just at the moment.
Let's go, Bulleen!
Yet again, Kozamara is the target to try play out, and Preston are pressing her hard. And Mendolia's shot didn't look especially likely, and indeed it does roll wide of the post. But you can really see Preston targeting the youngster Sasha Kozamara whenever she's on the ball. Just outside the penalty area, looking to force a turnover, and it's worked a treat up until this point in the second half. Kozamara did well on that occasion, able to win her team a throw. Amendolia hoping for Percy. Has O'Brien for company. Percy eventually gets the shot away, and Valentine Percy takes her chance. A scrappy finish, but they all count the same. And Preston Lions have a deserved lead after an excellent start to this second 45. And eventually it's the new recruit, Valentine Percy, with the finishing touch, sliding it under Emily Shields. And as Preston score their second goal of the campaign, so does Valentine Percy. And for Bulleen, it's been a rough first 7-8 minutes of the second half. The question now very much how they are able to respond.
Let's go, Bulleen!
Having spent so much of this second 45 just deep, locked in their own half. Well, the early signs are that getting that goal hasn't diminished the enthusiasm with which Preston continue to press. You see Elena Vatke bringing out all the acrobatic moves to try to get to the ball. Sarah Kane playing it between a couple of teammates. Amendolia hoping to take advantage. You might be able to see on that far side the Preston dugout led by Dan Foden, rapturous in their applause every time the Preston players close down one of their opposition.
Let's go, Bulleen!
Worth remembering that both of the league meetings between these teams last season ended in away wins. And at the moment, that's where we're headed for Preston, who had this game right where they wanted. Miri Nishimura hassling Malloy into coughing up the throw. It's Emma Checker who will deliver the long throw. Lands between Percy and Nishimura, but it came off a Bulleen player. So Preston will have another chance, this time from a corner, coming in from that far side. Both Nishimura and Amendolia are headed in that general direction. But it looks as if the number 8 will pull rank. The likes of Percy, Checker, Henderson, the obvious targets. Henderson's the nearest to it. Malloy and Checker. Checker keeps the chance alive. Cross inside. Could fall the way of Yamada. Now Vatke as well. Golden back supporting the defence.
Let's go, Shorty! Good, Sarah!
Still Preston press. Judica joining in on O'Brien. That's well worked by Bulleen. Kozamara, her pass read well by Amendolia, but the first touch wasn't as smooth as she would have hoped. Again, Lani Judica jumping up.
Let's go.
Well, it's at times like these that the midfield for Bulleen, it's under such intense pressure, as is the defence. Needs someone capable of receiving the ball and just absorbing some of what Preston are throwing at them. That's well done by Buttress, but Checker was there to win the ball back. Percy now. Into Amendolia. Thought about Vatke. Too close to Shields. Well, it's Preston for whom the game's going well in their favour right at the minute. But it's also the visitors who will be the first to look to the bench. Dan Foden hoping to keep the energy high in his team. We see Lani Judica making her way to be substituted off. And there'll be a real reshuffle. It looks like a triple change coming forward for Preston. Ellie Lamont and Eri Narita, two of the players brought onto the park. Looks like maybe the end of the afternoon for Elena Vatke. And Miri Nishimura as well, a couple of players who are key contributors to the Preston press in this second half. And Molly May Ramsey, the third player, brought onto the park in that right fullback position. So Ramsey, Narita and Lamont on for Preston. It's a decent set of names to be able to turn to. As we approach the hour mark.
Good, Shorty, well done! Compete!
Buttress does well to get past Harrington. Getting back to support was Yamada. Now Renahan for Bulleen, who just about the first time in this half are able to get real weight of numbers into the Preston half of the pitch. This is Roger. Talevsky beat her to it. And the final touch is off the Preston player.
Let's go, Bulleen!
And as we do tick over 60 minutes, Bulleen will take their chance to make some changes of their own. Sasha Kozamara. Preston did their best to make life as difficult for as possible. Will be withdrawn. No doubt an invaluable 60 minutes, though, for the youngster to play at this level for that duration of time and with that level of intensity. Grace Kanyina and Nia Saleh, the two players to whom Caitlin Friend has turned to try and wrestle back some control of this contest. Saleh, of course, the scorer last time out for Bulleen. Looks as if Caitlin O'Brien is the other player withdrawn alongside Kozamara. But this is Henderson now for Preston, who has a paddock of space in the Bulleen half. Looks out towards Narita on the right-hand side. Cutting on to the left. The block from Miller Bullich taking the sting out of the shot. That ball just a little bit awkward for Ramsey, and Yasevsky's looking to take advantage. Olima Ramsey getting back to cover and concede the corner. So do Bulleen have a response maybe from one of these corner situations? That one's a low fizzing delivery. Nia Saleh gets the initial touch. The follow-up meets the head of Valentine Percy. Percy will again be tasked to track down this ball. And there's a little bit of concern on the far side for, I think, Danny Buttress, who's prone on the deck, was involved in that corner routine. Didn't exactly see what happened to lead the Bulleen forward to be on the ground. And both teams will take the chance to regroup with the injury delay. Bulleen, in the last couple of minutes, for the first time in the half, been able to relieve some of the pressure on their defence and midfield that Preston have been relentless in applying up until this point. Buttress is back on her feet and walking towards the sideline, so hopefully it's nothing too serious, and the youngster looking good to continue. Certainly a relief for Caitlin Friend and her team. Buttress has been the most likely outlet really throughout the game, but especially in this second half. And Danella Buttress does indeed re-enter the pitch, so back to the full complement of 11 for Bulleen, as they attempt still to wrestle their way back into this contest. Here is Lamont. It's a really firm coming together between a couple of the substitutes. Ellie Lamont looking a little bit worse for wear, having met Grace Cagnina, and it's a red card that's been shown to the Bulleen substitute. Grace Cagnina on the park for really a matter of minutes. And a really heavy bit of contact in the middle of the park with Ellie Lamont. Results in Bulleen being reduced to 10 players. Lamont still receiving some treatment. So certainly some concerns for the star striker's welfare. A moment that may well prove significant in the course of this game, just as Bulleen were getting back on a level footing, to be reduced to 10 players as they have been. The concern, though, remains for Preston substitute Ellie Lamont, who really did have quite the star turn last campaign, ending up taking home the best and fairest medal for the team that made the grand final as well as the Nike Cup final, the D. Pukalovsky medal. Certainly not particularly pleasant sights rather, as the stretcher makes its way onto the park. You see the Preston Lions teammates of Ellie Lamont surrounding her and hoping to provide some support and comfort. Certainly an unpleasant turn for this game in the last couple of minutes. Just looking back at the incident, it did look to be some really stiff contact to somewhere around the midsection of Ellie Lamont. Whereas Cognina flying in, attempting to win the ball. And in situations like this, we just, of course, hope that the damage isn't too bad for Ellie Lamont and that it's not too severe an injury. Does look as if instead of the stretcher, Ellie Lamont will attempt to get back to her feet and walk herself off the park with a bit of support. See, as well as the Preston medical staff. Dan Foden, the head coach, out there supporting. As is. You hear the warm round of applause as Monty, she is affectionately known, Ellie Lamont, heads towards the sideline. So a real moment of concern, but for Preston, they will now need to turn their minds back to the job at hand. With around about half an hour still to play in this game, we'll get a large chunk of second half stoppage time to accommodate that break in play. See Preston readying Lamont's replacement. Different ways that teams can respond to moments like that, whether using it as fuel and inspiration. That's a good ball through for Dorita, but the offside flag denies Preston the second goal. That would have been a perfect way to bounce back from that misfortune that we just saw. There's Ellie Vlamink, who's been substituted into the game in the number 7 shirt. Another one of the players in this Preston team coming across from the NTC Academy program. And she'll lead the line for the remainder of this contest for Preston. Bulleen, though, looking for a response of their own through Miller Bullich. And the fullback is fouled. And with that, Bulleen will get a good look at a set-piece delivery. The yellow card dished out as well. I think that one to Ellie Talevsky. So centre referee Angelique Manjon certainly being kept busy over the last, well, really throughout the course of the match, but particularly the last 10-15 minutes. And Bulleen down to 10 players. Set pieces is where they've looked most dangerous throughout the match. You'd think that would be even more the case with their numerical disadvantage. Ball sent inside. Rosie Roger was there at the near post. Somehow got free in a paddock of space. And in such a dangerous position, we'll think that she should have done better. You saw her put her hands to her head, having misdirected the attempt. So Bulleen very nearly finding their way back to an equaliser. For now, though, Preston's lead remains intact. Percy's flick on header, hoping for Vlamink. Now Yamada keeping the play going. This is Narita, who we've seen quite the tendency to shoot on sight from Eri Narita. That one more of a scuffed attempt. And the Preston press is back in full force, led by their captain Georgia Henderson. And final touch coming there off Kat Renahan. So Preston now able to pin back their hosts once again. Eri Narita will deliver the outswinger. It's a good one as well for Percy, who found the ball at her feet at the near post. Narrowly off target with the attempt, though. Just some confirmation from around the grounds. Both Heidelberg and South Melbourne picking up some good wins this afternoon. Heidelberg 5-2 up at the home of the Matildas against FV Academy, whilst South Melbourne proving much too strong for Alamein. So two of the teams that you'd expect to rival the two on the pitch in front of us, showing that they're looking pretty good for season 2025. This is Narita. Rosie Roger doing her best to corral the Preston forward. Narita unable to get the cross she was hoping for, though. Yeah, Saleh sending that ball into touch. With those results, Heidelberg go to 9 points from 9. And with Alameин's defeat and Bulleen currently trailing, it would mean it's the defending champions, the Burgers, who go a couple points clear early in the campaign. South Melbourne 2 points behind them on 7. That ball importantly read by Renahan. Amendolia returning to what we saw in the early minutes of this second half, winning the ball back and creating a chance on goal as a result. Here Saleh has Golden as support, looking up towards Buttress, well read by Harrington. Once again, it's Harrington trying to pick up the ball and launch a counter. Instead, they're near Saleh. Out to Bullich. Just cross inside. Meets the head of Checker. Saleh and Kane not on the same page. The other result from this afternoon coming in with, well, a big upset, you'd have to say, with Essendon Royals beaten by Spring Hills. Spring Hills, who are making quite the mark early in this season, getting that draw against Preston in the opening round, and Bulleen needing a stoppage time winner to avoid a similar fate. Now going to Cross Keys and beating the Essendon Royals. This is Yosefsky. Only ever was going to find the feet of Harrington, though. Bulleen will take the chance to head to their bench again. It's the end of the afternoon for Kristen Malloy, who particularly in the first half was quite the presence at the back. She'll be replaced by Maddie Rakic, one of the other new recruits for Bulleen this season, most recently playing with Heidelberg. But did start last season at the team out on the pitch today, Preston Lions, before switching over to the Burgers, winning the championship, and now joining Bulleen, so doing the full gauntlet of big NPLW Victoria clubs is Maddie Rakic. Now against one of those former clubs. Will be seeking to get her new team away back into the contest. Amendolia. Only into Renahan, who sends it up towards Golden. Golden didn't quite time the attempt to take the ball down. But that's a lovely looking ball out towards Buttress and caused a little bit of hesitation for Maggie Byrne. In the end, the shot stopper came and smothered the ball. Kersey hoping for Henderson. Well read and marshalled by Renahan. Throw into the penalty area. You saw Vlaminck just lurking out the back and almost able to capture the ball in a bit of space. You do feel that the combination of how intensely Preston have pressed throughout this game and Bulleen being down to 10 has taken its physical toll on both sets of players. This game was always going to test the fitness, the pre-season work of both outfits when you consider how much is on the line and how badly you can tell both sets of players want the win. Right at the moment, Preston will be happy with a difficult game for Bulleen. Amendolia to deliver the cross, or the free kick rather, that one comfortably headed away by Bullich. And Yamada looking out towards Checker, but the offside flag meant that was never really an option. Bulleen next week are back here at the Ven, hosting Alamein, another one of the teams who picked up 2 wins from 2 and then were brought right back to earth this weekend at the hands of South Melbourne. So they may well be in the same position as their next opponents, Bulleen, if they're not able to turn this one around. The Preston, meanwhile, of course, a factor in their slow start to the season has been the lack of home games early in the campaign. Both of their first 2 games so far have been away, as we see Rosie Roger trying her luck from a long way out. But for Preston, there's another 2 games still to come before they can get back to BT Connor Reserve. After this week, they head over to Cross Keys to take on the Essendon Royals before being back at the Veneto Club to play Burundara. So that another decidedly tricky away game, that one in particular at Cross Keys against the Royals. But if they can see out the remainder of this game, Preston will give them just a wealth of confidence that they can go on and pull off a similar result out in the West. Donella Buttress skipping past Harrington. She's worked hard all day, Buttress. The cross inside. Always heading comfortably into the gloves of Maggie Byrne. Byrne on track for a first clean sheet at this level for her new club. 7 minutes of regulation time remain. There will be a large chunk of stoppage time as a result of the Ellie Lamont injury that we saw earlier in this half. And it's a really awkward situation to navigate if you are Preston. They've been the better team in this second half. They've got the numerical advantage now to go with it. Just a question of how much they continue to press and make life difficult for Bulleen as opposed to backing themselves to absorb any pressure that their hosts might apply. Vlaminck hoping to pinch the balls off the toes of Maddie Rakic, who does enough to get it out for a throw. Percy sets through Vlaminck. Renahan quick to close down the space. Bulleen work their way out of trouble, at least for the moment. Vlaminck hoping for Narita for Preston now. Narita turns into some space. You can really see the technical skill of Eri Narita, her ability to turn in space and the ball sticking to her feet like it's glued. Forward, though, was clearly offside there, so lets it run through to Emily Shields. Buttress has a couple of Preston players to compete with. He'll be happy, really, you'd think, to win the throw as the end result. Erin Arita sees Flamink in space. Rakic attempted to cut it out. Neither player able to trap the ball. And in the end, it had too much juice on it, so it's out for a Bulleen throw. But for the host Bulleen, it's starting to feel like, well, a story that we've seen all too often from a Bulleen perspective in the last few years. Yes, they're back-to-back premiers. They won the Nike Cup last season. There's no doubt that their plan A is as good as anyone in the competitions. The problem is when plan A isn't working, and right now they're really having to dig deep to find an alternative way to threaten the Preston goal. Eliza Amendolia will now be withdrawn for the final minute. She's worked tirelessly throughout the second half and been a really valuable contributor. You can see her elevating the Dan Foden midfield. And Sama Kapanekia made 9 appearances off the bench last season and does so again this afternoon. Player who can certainly do some two-way running and provide a bit of an attacking threat on the counter for Preston. This is Nia Saleh. Still going Nia Saleh. Got the shot away as well. The numbers proved important for Preston. And now Erin Arita set a task. Shields a long way out from her goal, but got to the ball first. The clearance only as far as Sama Kapanekia. Kapanekia inside towards Narita. Shields wasn't able to claim, but it matters not with the offside flag up. So with 2 minutes of regulation time remaining, a second goal for Preston would surely kill off the contest and just make things a little bit less stressful in the amount of stoppage time that is still to come. Erin Narita standing over the dead ball. Sent in close to Emily Shields and awkward for the goalkeeper. Kapanekia there. And Sama Kapanekia scores the second for Preston and surely seals the 3 points. It was a wicked delivery from Narita that Emily Shields couldn't handle, and Kapanekia was in the right place to take full advantage. 2-0 for Preston, who surely now will get their first win of the campaign. They've been the better team throughout the afternoon. And surely now, Bulleen's challenge will come to an end. Saw the intent from Sarah Kane, wasting no time as Bulleen looked to mount the most unlikely of comebacks. 2 goals down with a player disadvantage as well. Saleh unable to take control of the ball. fourth officials board shows 6 minutes of second half stoppage time. Plenty of time for 2 goals. The problem for Bulleen is they haven't looked especially likely to score even one up until this point. Kapanekia loses out to Buttress, who slides it through to Golden. Golden's cross isn't a bad one. Picked up by Yosefsky. And Yosefsky runs in circles trying to open up a space. There's Nia Saleh. Just wide of the post. That's really about as close as Bulleen have come in this second half. It's been an impressive second 45 from the visitors. And well, when you consider the other results today, it'll cause a real logjam in around the middle part of the NPLW ladder after 3 rounds. Heidelberg, the big winners of the weekend, moving clear at the top. Yamada finds Henderson. Inside for Flaming, back to Henderson. Offside though. It looks as if the streak of away winners will continue in this fixture. As Ellie Flaming hoping to maybe add a third, had the run being made by Narita, but wasn't able to cut it back tightly enough. Preston did get the win 2-1 at this venue last season. And this will be a second win in a row against Bulleen and here at the Veneto Club. You'd imagine that when these teams meet again later in the season, the league meeting at BT Connor Reserve set for round 14, so at the end of June we may well see some quite different lineups for both coaches, with some potentially returning players as well as maybe some new recruits. But at this early stage of the season, it's a crucial result for Preston. And for Bulleen, well, they'll be glad that they got the couple of wins to get their campaign underway. But they've been second best this afternoon. Bullich looking to send the ball up. Harrington there to intercept. Here is Kapanekia, the scorer of the second goal, setting away Eva Harrington. And as the Preston corner is awarded, they will be in no rush to get the play back underway, feeling very comfortable with where this game sits. Just a couple of minutes still to play. Kapanekia. Space for Georgia Henderson for the third. And the icing on the cake comes from the captain. 3-0 Preston. And Georgia Henderson, who in many ways has led the press throughout this second half, gets her name on the score sheet as Preston Lions get themselves on the board in season 2025 with a big win at the home of Bulleen. Kapanekia involved again, having scored the second. She sets up the third. And on an afternoon, no doubtedly, for which many will be remembering and hoping that Ellie Lamont is okay and nothing too severe, Preston will be thrilled to have got things done on the pitch. It's hard to argue that they don't deserve to win and to win comprehensively. They've been the better team, especially in this second half. And even now, there's more space for the visitors to run into. Erin Narita, who's been lively coming off the bench in this second half. This is Valentine Percy, who opened the scoring in the second half, early on. And that's full time. Preston too strong. They once again avenge the Nike Cup final defeat last season and make it back-to-back wins against Bulleen. It's their first of season 2025 as they make their way up the ladder and close the gap on the rest of the competition for Bulleen. Their bright start to the season, 2 straight wins. It's a real thud in the form of Preston Lions. Commanding display from Dan Foden's team, who will head into next week's game. Another really tough fixture away at Cross Keys to take on the Essendon Royals, brimming with confidence and hoping to get their 2025 season well and truly up and running. For Bulleen, well, they've dealt with these kinds of setbacks before. They weren't able to get their game up and running this afternoon. They'll hope that another home game next time out will allow them to re-find their feet as they look to claim a 3rd straight premiership crown. But that's all the time that we have for this first of 2 games at the Veneto Club this afternoon. Don't forget, there is still a match later tonight, 8:30 p.m. local time, also at this venue. But for this afternoon's match of the round between Bulleen Lions and Preston, it is Preston who have come away with the 3 points. Full-time score, Bulleen Lions 0, Preston Lions 3.